Alright, TvT in this Korean server, next 2021 Winter Qualifier. The red Terran in the top left-hand side from the Shopify Rebellion is ByuN. Taking on the blue Terran in the bottom right from Team NV, it is Maru. As we dive into game one of this best of three, and see what will go down. Y'all watching this on YouTube? What's that, a mirror matchup on the YouTube channel? Wardy, what has happened to you? I know. But yeah, I mean, two fun plays. If it's a fun series, it might be on the YouTube channel. And if it is, as always, I would like to ask you guys to remember to like the video perhaps, or obviously do consider subscribing as well maybe. If you don't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel to see when we upload further videos, etc. It is always greatly appreciated. So check it out. Like I say, helps us out a whole bunch. And yeah. Away we go into game number one of this best of three. As Maru's in the bottom right, ByuN's in the top left, and we wait to see what fun TvT action lies in store. For now, mirrored build orders. Biggest difference being Maru builds racks closer over here than over here. Maybe just afraid of add-ons and stuff, being in range of the tank siege position down here, so that's something he just wants to stay away from a little bit right now. That seems to be the plan. So that's the current situation of what we're building up into. Is SCV of Maru will come through and scout and nibble the SCV of ByuN built in the wall. Obviously ByuN is scouting as well. He's going to do the exact same, and he won't be stopped by a wall off because there is no wall off. But it's time to go because the Reaper is on the way up on either side, and obviously Maru, his Reaper will pop out soon. So will ByuN's. Neither SCV is really close enough to be chased by the Reaper, I believe. I think both of them are safe, and even if one was in trouble, there would be the defensive Reaper coming in to save it, so I don't think it's a major problem. As Reaper number 2 from ByuN, Maru will go straight to the reactor. It's going to play a little bit greedier to just rush out the reactor there. It's just going to rush that out a little bit faster, a little bit sooner. And that factory of Maru going to be finishing as well. So just getting that completed. CC on the natural coming through. And it's going to be a Hellion right away. We're going to go into Reaper production of this barracks Maru. I think we might go into multiple Reapers and work from there. Build another depot. There we go. Gonna line up some more Reapers. So he will get the Reaper count up. 2 Reapers into a Hellion from ByuN as he goes reactor. And I would imagine he built a starport as well, as obviously that doesn't line up. Oh, that's not a reactor. That's a tech lab. My apologies. So he's just gonna go 2 Reapers, 1 Hellion, and a Cyclone, while Maru will have 3 Reapers and at least 2 Hellions. He could go 5 Reapers, 3 Hellions, and make an attack with that. Not bad against a Cyclone that's quick either, because actually the Reapers do pretty well against a Cyclone. Like, yeah, the Cyclone locks on and kills one quickly, but then the Reapers do chase that Cyclone down and get the kill, so it wouldn't be terrible for Maru if he ended up on that. Looks as though it is just going to be 3 Reapers, though, and 2 Hellions, and he'll use that pressure while he goes into now Marines, a tech lab on his factory. He obviously has a reactor that his opponent doesn't have, so that will be an advantage here as the starport moves to a tech lab from ByuN. That is a little bit faster, and that will be a faster Raven as Maru. His starport will maybe just build his own tech lab. He's going to build a medevac first. So he's going to be the aggressor. So he will be the aggressor. Cyclone just hanging out on the watchtower. Oh, the ramp, sorry. Banshee and the Cyclone just continuing through from ByuN. That one Banshee can actually be pretty neat. Can be a very good effect defensively. Can be very good offensively as well. Just napping a few SCVs across the map. And yeah, just going to be seeing our Banshee going to be done soon. So it wasn't a faster Raven. In fact, in the end, the Ravens will be fairly similarly timed as the tech lab comes into the starport of Maru. He's just moving across the map with 2 Hellions, 3 Reapers, the medevac with a tank and a few Marines inside. Heading away to the upper left-hand corner. Here comes the Banshee. It's going to see the couple of Hellions. So 1 Hellion already getting zapped. Now the Cyclone getting a lock on, and Banshee fighting back a little bit. It's a good defensive setup from ByuN, right, against just the, lower Marine count and so on. Especially now he's up to the double Cyclone, plus the Banshees. He has just too much immediate damage output. You lose way too much as Maru before you really get your tank set up into position, etc. So in this regard, it's definitely going to go the way of ByuN defensively, but no one's built anything like overly kind of out of their way. This is all just kind of the way that these builds set up. This leads into a very typical mid-game. It's not like Maru was desperate to deal some damage here. Okay, he's a couple SCVs behind, but that's not something which can be, you know, that's something which can be found further down the line. I mean, he catches up now. It's actually not even a full 2 SCVs. It's like, you know, 2 SCVs for 10 seconds, and it's even, then it's not, and then it is. You can see our 2 Reapers going down as Marines are going to clean up in the center there. Medevac of Marines going to come around the right-hand side. I'm going to move up the right here and get set to go as well. So away we go. Medevac of Marines on the move, and just going to be seeing the few units of ByuN out the front as well. Raven coming up on either side. Command Center, 3rd CC coming up from both players. Again, pretty much keeping, you know, in pace of each other. There's an extra tank from Maru, an extra Raven from ByuN, and that's, again, very much so a timing thing of, you know, we look at it right then, and it was kind of 1 extra for each. We look at it now, the tanks have evened out, the Ravens are about to even out. You know, it's really kind of the same idea from both, just a little bit of, you know, a few seconds extra here, a few seconds extra there. No one really in an immediate lead. ByuN is going to be the aggressor, though, moving forward. Maru sees it with the Marines, so he knows it's happening. That's obviously really good information. He's got a Medevac of Marines. Double Cyclone in the main should be okay to clean this up. Let's see, actually, as he won't... I don't think he locks onto the... Okay, he does get the lock onto the Medevac. Okay, he gets the lock onto the Medevac right away. Only 4 Marines unload. Wow. That's a really good shutdown, then really good defense from ByuN. Loses a couple of SCVs. But he gets a full Medevac, and, you know, that's 10 supply just gone. Absolutely worthwhile defense for ByuN. Love that. Just well set up. He knows there's a Medevac early, so he leaves the Cyclones knowing the potential of some damage to be done. And obviously has the rest of his army on the map as well. And he knows as well, right? He showed it to Maru, so he knows if Maru's going to drop, it would be after he showed his army out on the map. So yeah, I'm sure he was paying more attention to the minimap, being very aware of, hey, look, he could be looking to hit me now if he is going to use that Medevac offensively, rather than keeping it at home. So I think just some really cool stuff happening so far in this TvT. Some cool back and forth, some cool setups. Tank is going to see it. That Hellion is going to end up blowing up. And just going to be seeing a couple of Cyclones back around the left side. The rest of Maru's army still chilling out in the center. 1 Banshee along to the far right. Marine, Tank, Raven into the middle of the map as well to figure out what exactly is going on. Stim already done from ByuN. Yes, it is. That's 1 big advantage he holds. Stim is way faster, but if he stims right now, he'd be stimming into all these units. That's why something like a big drop in the main or something would be good. Like, if you just drop a lot of units into the main here with stim versus no stim, that would be amazing. As 3 SCVs go down, make it 4. That Banshee gets a final shot before the Vikings get it, so 4 SCVs will fall. The Cyclone around the right-hand side pulls back down into the center. Combat shields continuing through from ByuN. As the Medevac, Marines, tanks, and the Ravens all out to the right-hand side. So a lot of these units to the far right-hand side here. I have a Cycle on the left is just going to get the cleanup. So Maru just cleaned up a couple of the units of ByuN, but Maru will have to defend this attack on the right, and he doesn't have anything in position here right away. He's moving into position, though. ByuN's going to get a really far forward siege. It's not really in reach of anything. Not really even in reach of this refinery, which you could usually deny over on this right side, so yeah, I guess he doesn't have too much air control either. That's a big difference. Maru has 30 less Marines. He has 8 Vikings. So yes, right now his Marine count is lacking and lacking heavily, but he has the air control, and that goes a long way in controlling the pacing of the game and the positioning in this game, and that is absolutely going to be critical as time passes by here, I would imagine. So definitely one thing to keep our eyes on. Oh, a couple of SCVs going down. Where's that? Up in the main base. The drop comes in from ByuN. And, okay, 3 SCVs. Going to win the fight against the Marines as well. And we'll get maybe 1 or 2 more SCVs. Reinforcements come in. Only 1 Marine left as it gets out with the Medevac at least. So that is something. As otherwise everything else from ByuN is moving around the right-hand side. Marine, Tank, Raven. All coming down here. Getting set to go. Another Marine unloading. Medevac will heal up the rest of these Marines. It's a big force from ByuN starting to move forward as we got some tank coverage ready to roll. And Interference Matrix going down. Make that a double, but I don't think ByuN will do anything with it. He will get the Sensor Town. He will take a position to maybe deny the gases on the natural I was talking about before. So We'll sort of make something happen here, but again, anything he does drop-wise, you've got to be careful with. You're pretty much forfeiting it because the Vikings will make sure that that dropship does not get out of here. As a matter of fact, goes down pretty much immediately, and we drop an auto turret just to clean it up effectively as well. Now you've got a lot of these tanks that actually, I mean, Maru has quadruple interference matrix available. You hit the first 4 tanks and move your tanks up, that's a bunch of free kills, so he's actually looking as though he just want to drop tanks on top, but then Neon Siege, and this will not continue as intended. ByuN is backing up and giving Maru some space as ByuN continues to maintain, what, like a 30 supply lead at the moment. It's a pretty significant advantage for ByuN as Maru moved forward, but there were still units down the low ground. 2 of the tanks remain sieged. I'm sure they will go down now to a couple auto turrets. Nice, clean, easy pickoff. Or you could land the Vikings, right, either. Or there's a Liberator showing up, right? You've got a bunch of choices. Oh, the Marines chasing those tanks down. Maru taking some big hits. Now he's going to grab them. It was good coverage from ByuN initially, but there was a way for the Marines to get there. The tanks probably should have just kept running. They probably would have been safe if they kept moving, but trying to siege up didn't really do enough. Well, Marine tank. Raven Viking moving back around the right side. The tanks will siege. The Marines will get settled. It's a little drop over here still from ByuN. Well, it's going to see this base coming up. I'm sure it won't get too much else done. The tanks siege up, and okay, we'll kill a siege tank. Oh, no, he misjudged it. Okay, he drops back down and he gets it. He misjudged it momentarily. Not the end of the world as we work our way towards the 4th. Has to be slower than what ByuN did because ByuN has the map control, but I mean, the good news for Maru is he's getting it done anyway, right? Yes, it's a little bit slower than maybe he would like, but otherwise it's decent. He actually comes in, he snipes down one of the Ravens. The other Raven low HP after that as well. Oh, it's going to die. The Vikings know they can get that. One more Matrix goes down, but I mean, he just cleaned out the air control that ByuN had been establishing. The Ravens from earlier in the game. I say the air control, he only had a couple Vikings, but he has now started up 2 more starports. He is producing Vikings. He wants to make a bid for air control, but now he has no Ravens left, and Maru keeping his own Ravens alive is only going to be a massive aid to him as time passes by, so that's going to be a major help. As Vikings and Ravens sit down on the bottom side, the army of ByuN moving back up the right as well. And just going to be seeing a 3-3 upgrades coming in on the engineering base as well. We've got Corvid Reactor on both sides. That's the increased energy of the Ravens when they pop out. So both players are looking to increase their Raven count here, and we really are heading into some later game TvT. Maru's been on the defensive, and typically if Maru's on the defensive, games do end up going like this because, well, he's very good defensively. So it's very hard for someone, even in a lead like ByuN has been, to really take advantage and to end the game. Even just plays like this, denies a gas, right? It's just annoying. Marines up here going to run around. That's a building command center that's going to get cancelled. And that's just very low unit commitment. It still has all of his main units, his tanks, his Vikings, etc. at home to deal with pushes like this. As we do push in, tanks are not quite in position here, and they're still not. This base has to live. We hit a massive anti-armor missile. Hits all of these Marines. Tank going down as well. Now we're going to move 40 of the Vikings. The tanks trying to see what they can do. Liberator obviously in range. He did get the tank cancel on the north base. 10 SCVs went down as well for ByuN during this, as I guess the Marines just got a little bit of action. But yeah, he's going to push this away with ease. I mean, just really good defense again from Maru. He has the tools to make it happen. The Liberator, the air control. I mean, his defense is always going to be easier to make than ByuN's attacks are because he's kept all of the vital units alive. And it really, I mean, if he'd been losing these units throughout the game, stuff like, you know, moments like this would have been really, really difficult to sort out, and they would have actually really been kind of like, uh-oh kind of moments. Now, obviously, that's not quite the case as Marine Tank Raven Viking comes back around to the center. SCVs will move to the far right side. Just going to be seeing the Vikings and the tanks getting set up. Here comes the rest of this army. Marine, tank, Viking, Raven. All of this continuing through our Marines of Maru. Now start to take a bit of a turn in. A lot of tanks will start a siege. That sensor tower is picked off right away. A lot of these tanks getting sieged up, and we do have Ravens that will join in with the Libs. Libs already going to force the siege tank back and gets one of them. Nice kill on the siege tank. Nicely handled right there. It's just going to see another sensor tower will build up. Command center sets up on the far right-hand side. Obviously, Maru just knowing defend, build my bases up, and let this continue into a later game. And he knows he's going to be comfortable. He knows he's going to be happy with that, so he is just going to continue with it for now. Liberator may get a couple tanks if it target fires. And once the Marines fall back, it absolutely will. Target fire or not, he gets all the tanks in the Matrix, and now you commit through. Yeah, ByuN can't fight this. He drops actually, it was Maru dropping an anti-arm missile. ByuN didn't get anything off on his Ravens, as he just goes running away. And again, Maru he's controlling the game while being at home. Like, it's impressive. Every single one of these fights, like, ByuN is the one being the aggressor. He should be the one picking the fights, but Maru is picking the fights. As a defender, anti-armor missiles will trade onto the Vikings. Maru will go forward with his Marines until the tanks siege up, then he's already backed away. Unit counter here, 16 to 12 Vikings favoring ByuN, but Maru has 3 more Ravens to keep in mind. Upgrades will even out soon. 3-3 of Maru will be finished up shortly. A couple of additional tanks getting sieged, and we go back and forth again. Another little setup there. Ravens get another anti-armor missile off, and those will be trade outs that continue to happen as well throughout this as Maru tries to edge his way to the center. He'll have matrices on these tanks, so maybe the Marines can make a play. We'll just send a few of them. I love it. Very low commitment. Just gets a bunch of these couple of tanks for very low Marine count. He actually only kills 1, but the other is low now. And man, these anti-armor missiles are consistent. Maru is getting rid of some Ravens as well. Saw a couple of those going down as he gets a couple of spell casts off. Water turrets go down as well from Maru to help keep his opponent away, and now he will kill off these tanks as well. Maru's engagements are freaking marvelous. They're just so beautiful. They are just so good. Absolutely consistently beautiful, I would say, so far, as these tanks come across this side, start to siege up. The Ravens will take a couple more shots as well. Just going to be seeing Vikings still being shot at. Marines coming underneath. Other Vikings are coming back through at the moment. Maru has just been expanding as well, by the way. Another base going up to the far right side. It's just some freaking beautiful TvT. Amazing control, keeping his macro up behind this really well also. He's killed every Raven of ByuN, by the way. ByuN lost like 8 Ravens, Maru's lost 5, but we checked and it was like 7 to 4. Now it's 7 to 0, so in recent times he's just picked up every single Raven. I really feel like his own Raven preservation has just been so much better. I think that maybe it was just the production keeping him up as well, but I mean, we look at resources lost, and Maru's trading 6,000, 7,000 resources better. It's going to be a bit of a more awkward fight maybe because the tanks weren't siege, but then it didn't matter. The tanks just A-clicked and those few Marines went down anyway. And he had a couple sieging in the back. Wow, even going to get the rapid reignition system, so medevac boost upgrade. Just in case that comes into play for all 2 of his medevacs. I guess you may as well, just in case. Never know. Liberator here going to be seen with these tanks, I believe, flying around here, so Vikings can go and deal with that right away. Maru sends absolutely everything, and maybe that gives ByuN a chance to make something happen in the bottom left. Of course, tanks of Maru are still setting up here. They're making progress themselves. Raven goes down to a missile turret. Okay, Maru is a little bit exposed on this bottom left-hand side. Another missile turret nearly gets a Raven again. Both the Ravens that remain for ByuN are low HP. These tanks are siege, and it looks as though this plan before is going to end up going down. SCV is repairing now. It kind of depends if you get the... okay, if you keep the repair up and so on, but it doesn't happen. It's too much damage in the end. Marines still working their way through. Maru's bottom left base is going to reestablish this one here already, though. The Vikings, the Ravens, and the tanks continuing through. ByuN still down about 30 supply again in a game which he was just kind of really well set up, and initially he was 30 supply ahead for a lot of it. He just wasn't able to close it out. The entire map covered in sensor towers now, and I believe there's like 5 towers for Maru versus 2 of ByuN, so he just sees everything. And a game that has just been controlled by Maru throughout. Man, Maru's TvT is freaking crazy. I know this has been a storyline as of late, that how good his TvT has been, but like, geez, it actually is just insane, because even if he can play conservatively enough in the early game that if he falls behind, he is just so good in the late game that falling behind in the early game doesn't matter, because you can't kill him, and he's so comfortable in the late game. So what do you do about that? If he can play safe enough and careful enough early game that you just can't kill him early, I mean, it's almost impossible if you then can't beat him late game, even with an advantage, right? It's actually ridiculous to watch. I think as TvT right now, playing like this is genuinely unbeatable. I don't know anyone that can contest it. I just don't know anyone that can play the late game like this. It's insanely good. I know ByuN's maybe not the most pristine of late game players, especially in TvT. He much prefers to be very like hyper aggressive. His style doesn't translate well into late game TvT, but man, I just don't believe. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he just genuinely looks like he just can't be beaten right now. As auto turrets come down, tanks are being shot at. We're going to be seeing this is obviously going to be a cleanup. He's just playing a perfect TvT, right? Like, even when something goes wrong for him, it's because he's putting into action something else elsewhere on the map. It's just freaking ridiculous. It really is. Marine's going to chase to the top and go after that planetary. SCV's taking some damage. 4 of them going down. Other Marines showing up. I mean, I was just happy to trade this out. 8 SCVs will fall. And that is ByuN. Actually just on 46 workers, so his economy is a problem. He's constantly out of money, can't max out. Meanwhile, Maru has 1.5k of each resource in his bank, and he's got the maxed out army, so... And he's got more workers as well, so he's making more money too. While already being maxed, anti-armor missiles will not go down actually from Maru for a moment or two. Now he does. He goes for the mass matrix, and by matrixing every tank, his Marines can come into the fight. And because his Marines get into the fight, then he's going to probably win the air battle. A couple of tanks low ground actually help him out a lot. I think this was a messier engagement from Maru. He definitely lost a little bit in the skies. And he actually kills the base anyway, though. I mean, I think this is probably the worst fight Maru has had in the game. And yet still here we are, right? Like 5 Ravens to 2. He's still up on tanks. He's only 5 Vikings behind. I mean, he could catch up on Vikings, but instead he's building 4 Ravens at a time still, so he's just maintaining the Raven lead. So yeah, it's ridiculous. And now his Raven count still being in his favor means he's going to get even more siege tank kills here. As through the middle of the map he goes, auto turrets and matrixes, using the Ravens to the best of his ability. Again, just very, very good stuff from Maru. Very convincing play. Yeah, like I say, this one fight up here was maybe not quite as convincing, but I think in the end it was still decent. He's going to land this CC next to the tank. I don't even want to know what he... Is he... No. He's Planetary Fortress rushing his siege tank in the top right of the map. That's interesting. Okay, well, as he cleans out on the left side... Oh, ByuN's army caught in the middle, losing a few of the Vikings already as well. What are we going to do? I can't believe this is actually a Planetary Fortress that sets up so you can set an orbital up behind it. This tank realizes, unsieges, and backs away. That's amazing. That's actually incredible. And I was like, okay, I'll just move it back a little. Okay, that's hilarious. I mean, yeah, Planetary Fortress rushing a tank in the late game. Of course we are. Matrix is going down again, clearing the way for the Marines to stem through. There is one tank north side, which is still available for ByuN. Doesn't really make a difference, though. Anti-armor missile will be shot down in return. Auto turrets come down. Again, the energy war goes in favor of Maru, but he is losing now his Marines. His tanks will be overrun, and ByuN, for the moment, will make his way forward and will come into a little bit of a better position. Everything else still just moving around the right there a little bit. Just going to be seeing the rest of this army coming back in to engage once more. Here we go. Ravens are available, of course. Matrixes go down after a few shots of the tanks. Auto turrets to back it up, and this time Maru just has too much, and that will actually be the end of the game. That will be GG's. Maru takes the 1-0 lead over ByuN in this best of 3. So Maru 1-0 over ByuN. GG's. I mean, just just a really perfect TvT, right? Like, he just played an incredibly well-crafted Terran versus Terran game there. Can't say anything else about it. The 2, in the top right-hand corner, is our red Terran player. I don't know what kind of an answer he'll come up with here, but let's see. It is ByuN in the upper right corner of the map. Taking on the bottom left blue Terran from Team NV, we do have Maru. I mean, yeah. Just his TvT was really good. Let's see what the hell ByuN tries this time. Let's see what he will try this time. Second map, 2000 Atmospheres. Another map that can play very similar to the last, in all honesty. You know, it's 2000 Atmospheres is this map where you can absolutely just kind of go back and forth, a lot of different bases to take. It's a lot about kind of how you rotate your units around and all that kind of stuff, for example. So, yeah, expecting a lot of, expecting maybe more of the same if we get to that stage. Obviously, the early game is where you can, you know, basically see the game basically be halted from getting there, but we'll see how the early game turns out as we get this established. The SCV of Maru already moving across to the upper side, across to the top right, and starting to see what will happen. Going on a scout, gonna see what's up, There's a barracks in the way, and the SCV gets turned away. Don't know why I'm trying to sing. Just trying to fill out early game a little bit here. And so he just comes down. He's going to see the factory coming up on either side, and the Reaper is on a bit of a move as well, just again trying to see what's going on. Couple of Reapers coming up, Hellion gonna pump. I'm just gonna be seeing everyone kind of matching each other for the moment. Neither player is taking too different of a route here in the early stages. As a Hellion joins up with the Reaper, and again, for the now, we'll just continue through to see what is gonna happen. So, waiting on that a little bit. Oh, as Hellion's actually it's on patrol. I was gonna say, is it stuck? It was kind of a weird place for it to be stuck because the depot was down. No, it's on a bit of a patrol as the Reapers will go across. This is already a little bit awkward. ByuN is missing a second Hellion because he actually went straight to the Cyclone. Maru went forward with his units, but not too far forward, as ByuN looks as though he wants to jump up. He will not be able to jump up here, though. He'll have to jump up over here, in which point he might end up being trapped in this base. A Hellion about to pop out. Oh, that's a perfect first shot as well. Buys you time to get the other units back. You lose a Hellion, but these Reapers will go down. We get one SCV. Good grenade. 2 SCVs. Okay, 3 Reapers go down for 2 SCVs and a Hellion. It's okay, I suppose. It's not super terrible, to be fair. As we are going to take the Reaper Hellion now out across the map again. So, a couple of Reapers up the left side, the Reaper and Hellion up the center. Remember that ByuN was making a Cyclone, so that will have to be part of the defense in this, as he's getting a siege tank ready to roll as well. It's just continuing to bring this out now, as our units of Maru, well, they adventure into the natural, and Marine's already in position to kill the 2 Hellions immediately, so that didn't really do much for Maru at all. Going to fight here. I don't know why you run at the ramp rather than just kind of running up here and maybe going for a couple SCVs. Maybe you feel like then you're too heavily committed there, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure, as we do see the Reapers just trying to kite this army from coming across the map. Obviously, you did commit more into these early game units, so it is somewhat important for you to slow down an attack. Make sure you have your own tank out, for example. Get your Raven some time to get some additional energy up and rolling. All that kind of stuff at first, so just kind of working towards that as the medevac and a siege tank will come forward with the Cyclone and Marine. These units of Maru are going to start taking a step forward. Ooh, Reaper going to get caught, locked onto. Oh, we got to lock onto the medevac. It can boost away, get out of range. And now we're going to get the tank sieging up to try and make something happen here. So, tank shot is decent, but obviously you're kind of limited by the tank shot. Good scan, because you know that you've got the Cyclone locked onto there, but gets lifted into the medevac. And a fun little early game duel. Maru down a little bit in army, a couple of workers. Again, maybe slight edge to ByuN early, although the 3rd CC is slightly quicker for Maru, so, you know, a couple gives and a couple takes. Our unit's just falling back down towards the natural expansion here and taking a position up. Tank is going to start sieging in, with everything else getting set to go as well. And yeah, just going to be seeing a Raven on either side of the map. This tank going to be popping out as well. Third CC just setting up, and just going to see how Reapers will actually delay that. So already your third was later. And yeah, you try and make up for that by being, taken into position, but yeah, I mean, now you actually lose another SCV in the main as well. Make that 2. Oh, that's a nice grenade. Didn't actually need to stop there. Could have continued running and kept on going for SCVs, but he's busy over here busting out with ease as well. The Cyclone doesn't quite kill the medevac, but he does get the tank. Oh, man, come on, man. He's just sat here killing SCVs. He's cleaned up the attack, and Maru is already off to a fantastic setup as he'll kill a couple more Marines. An Order Turret has to come down and deal with this. My goodness, man. Oh, Maru just, again, completely dominating this game right now. 6 SCVs go down, kills a few of the Marines also. And yeah, that's just going to be, a good portion of the, a good bit of damage done for sure. Not really much else to say about that one. Yeah. Alright, well, Rack's coming in on either side, Engineering Bays on either side. We do have our third CC building up into position. And here comes the force of Maru heading across through the middle of the map to the upper right corner. So away we go with this. Medevac of Marines loads up, starts to head out to the left side. The Ravens here, though, might be able to see a bit of something. Medevac continues across. There we go, multiple Order Turrets already going down. We'll get rid of one tank right away. A second tank picked off as well. That's Raven and a couple of Vikings continue to escape away right now. We are just going to get into the natural expansion. It's a good position for Maru to work with. His tanks will siege up very far forward. He will have a counterattack he needs to deal with, but he's already in position to deal mega damage. SCVs are just going to pull straight into this. Well, and Marines, unfortunately, going to die to friendly fire from the tanks as 20 workers go down. Obviously, Maru has some time he can buy against these Marines of ByuN, as he actually is going to lose a Raven. The other 2 Ravens will start to make their way out of here, though. The Viking showing up from Maru will help, as now this Viking lands to kill off the tank, which will happen. Still just got these Marines over here causing trouble as ByuN. I mean, that's the biggest issue that Maru has. I mean, he's still already just killed more workers, so ByuN just needs to get so much out of so little on this side of the map. It's back up into the main, just trying to find different directions of attack here. Yeah, I mean, you're down 20 workers, so if ByuN doesn't do something right away now, he's in trouble. I mean, air control is here as well for Maru. He actually didn't get... Okay, well, this tank's going to die anyway. He didn't get a first shot on the tank because he was hitting something else, and that definitely became an issue a few moments later. A couple of SCVs going down, make that 4 workers or so. Vikings still chasing through. 5 workers going down. A few Marines going to start dropping on top of this tank, and maybe we finally clean up as the drop comes back home from ByuN, but definitely not an ideal situation. Definitely far from where you want to be. As you can see, double army supply from Maru, 20 more workers. His third actually mining as an orbital, whereas ByuN's is just trying to morph into an orbital, and now it's under attack and being stimmed at as well. So you might actually have to just lift this. Oh, the medevac full of units goes down. Okay, this game is over. GG's from ByuN. And that will be game 2 to Maru as he takes this 2-0. GG's. Well played. Maru plays a beautiful TvT.